Oh, hey, my naughty N95s. Welcome to another episode of Whatcha Packin. From Connecticut, by the way, of Queens, it is Jax.
Hi.
Hi, doll.
How are you?
Because you originally are from Connecticut. You're
Yes.
fourth Connecticutan.
I know, there's 4 of us. It's terrifying.
We went from 0 to...
Born one season. I am adopted, so...
Me too!
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes!
Oh my gosh. I'm adopted from Puerto Rico originally, so I'm half black, half Puerto Rican, and both of my parents are very Caucasian, so I've been raised in little Darien my entire life, just a little black sheep, and thriving, honestly.
How are they with Jax?
Oh, they love it.
Do they?
My dad treats drag like a sport, where he'll come to my brunches and he'll like start like looking around the room and being like, oh, you made $20 more than her during that number. he truly is just like, oh, this is just like football, except you're dancing on top of a bar right now.
Oh my goodness, they're gonna be so proud of you with this show. So when did cheerleading become a part of your life?
Cheerleading became a huge part of my life when I was in high school.
Okay.
I never did school cheerleading. It was always an extracurricular. I did club sports. When I was much younger, I was a junior Olympic diver.
I was a swimmer. Oh my goodness, we could be related.
I think so.
Yes!
Maybe I'm from New Jersey, I just didn't know.
You could be.
Even though like I was a good diver at that age, I was terrified of heights. So like I ended up quitting just because I hated doing 3-meter and platform. And eventually that just led me to try out gymnastics. But I was too old to like learn the other apparatuses,
Right.
except for floor.
Floor.
And so competitive cheerleading was like, oh, it's floor gymnastics, but with like fun music in the background.
It is.
I can get with this.
And where did you fall in the pyramid?
I'm a stout little thing, so I was definitely at the bottom holding those girls up.
How did you end up in Queens?
I moved to New York when I was 18. I went to the School of Visual Arts for photography and cinema, and Manhattan's expensive, and the rent was right in Queens, and I've just been there ever since.
And when does drag enter into that?
Drag enters very early on of me moving to Queens. I found the local gay bar in the area, which is my home bar now, Icon in Astoria, where Jan is also one of the home queens of that bar. And I went there one night and I was just like, oh, I didn't know like this was happening. Like, let me just kind of like feel my way around here. I knew of drag. I was getting into it while I was in college because I was in a self-portrait course, you know, playing around with like some like special effects makeup and stuff like that to like incorporate into my work. And that also led me to meeting some drag queens that are just like, oh, you're a great photographer. Like, can you shoot me? Like, get me in the studio. And when I started shooting them and just like dancing around to my music in the studio, they're like, oh, you have moves. Like, put a wig on and you can make some dollars. And from that point on, I've been putting a wig on, making some dollars.
Yeah. How many times did you audition?
This is my first time auditioning.
Okay, first time auditioning, first time get on. So you get here.
Yes.
Was it everything you'd hoped it would be? Was it harder than you thought it was gonna be?
Oh, it was everything and absolutely harder than I thought it was gonna be. Just because it's my first time doing anything with TV, and it's a lot when you first get here.
It is.
But it was really great to walk into that room and like see Amethyst and Selena and just be like, okay, like I mesh here. Like these are people that I can like get along with. So I just wanted to have a good time while I was here, and I had a fun time.
I was gonna say, I feel like you did have a good time, and I feel like I rode pretty hard on you because I kept pushing you and pushing you because your drag needed polish. It did, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
But you are so likable, and you're such a ball of energy, and I think that's what was so much fun to watch. So sometimes the drag would suffer, but the performance would not. And that's going to be your calling card, your performance, and your tumbling and doing what it is that you do. What was your favorite challenge?
Honestly, I know I was in the bottom for it, but the girl group challenge was so much fun. I love just like getting stupid and just like coming out there and just being like, get back, and just like being an idiot. I consider myself a comedic dance performer, if anything. Not necessarily a comedy queen, but like I know the points of my songs where I can make a little ad lib and get the audience to laugh along with me and not take myself too seriously, because I'm not a trained dancer. It was all through gymnastics, and I call myself a mover and a shaker with some acrobatic elements. And so being able to like add those comedic moments in is like what brings me joy, just to like be an idiot on stage with people.
I love that. You are tenacious, and that is an incredible part of your spirit and your personality that you can never give up on. I could tell how badly you loved it and wanted to be there. Let's talk about your snatch game.
Okay.
Your snatch game was a brilliant idea, theoretically.
Yes.
And you just didn't take it and run with it.
Yeah.
But Jax, great idea.
Yeah.
And even the execution, you know, the way you looked, adorable. You needed to be ridiculous. You were the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
you could have made her anything. Nobody
Yeah.
knows what she sounds like. Nobody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was definitely in my head with a lot of things throughout the competition. The first day I was feeling fine, especially with like the talent show. I knew like that's what I'm good with and that's where I can jive like as a performer. But everything else, I was very over analytic of everything. I come up from a very kind of like reserved background. I don't really talk out of place. And so when I'm in a room with a bunch of other drag queens, everyone's like going back and forth and screaming at each other in good ways and bad ways. I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna wait my turn and you just gotta make your turn.
I was gonna say, sometimes you're not gonna get your turn.
Exactly.
Let's talk about your looks.
Yes.
This one is actually really gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I've never seen you wear
No.
anything like that.
No. I was holding them out for later on and I'm just, ugh.
Talk to me about that.
This was a little bit of a Marilyn moment that I was going for with the fuchsia. I wanted to be glamour. I wanted to come out and do a little reveal, to have my hands like just come out to like my rhinestone like body as a nude illusion. Just serve glamour, but also camp.
Who made that one?
That was made by Angel Ayala, who is a designer out of New York. I don't work with designers very often. Most of my drag is just, you know, me in my little drag room, like pushing away the sewing machine, just like to pull out something to wear that night. And so it was my first time working with one.
And what about this one in the middle?
This is a dress that I thrifted that I had yes, and the bag as well. I had one of my best friends, Miss Nikki Otov, out of Brooklyn. They run a company called Meltdowns and Mugshots where they hand paint leather. And so they made this custom piece for me off of something that I thrifted. And it's very me, it's very graphic. It really harkens back to like my art school kind of days and my love of just like all things kind of like 80 and grungy.
So it harkens back even further than that to North Beach leather, which was really big in the 80s and the 90s. And the spin that your artist friend put on it is just really great. It's very street art centric, kind of Keith Haring. I love Stephen Sprousey. I love everything about that. Now the one behind me is very Jax.
Yes.
And talk to me about that one.
Yes, this is my puffer jacket runway, which is my favorite thing that I got to wear on the show. I'm so thankful I got to show it off. Another one of my first times working with a designer as well. This is by 10 Yards out of Brooklyn, my friend Sam. I knew I wanted something bandana, I wanted something banji, and as I was looking around fabric, I was like, what about a bumblebee? Like, what about just like a cute little like worker bee, just like, you know, like ready to strut down the street, make it happen. And like, don't turn your back because she might sting you.
Yes! Before I let you go, we have to talk about the moment that was like, the moment that sent you home. The lip sync Lollapalooza. And Anitra chose Spice.
Yes.
Ouch.
Yes.
But, I mean, somebody was gonna go.
Yeah.
And how did you look at it?
When it happened, in my head, I was, of course, upset because I was going, oh, if my name gets chosen, I'm going to save Anitra because that's my sister.
Oh, no!
I know.
Yes!
So I would have saved her. But I understand it. Like, honestly, having that last lip sync against her, I was just having fun at that point. I was like, we just did 2 other lip syncs. We're just going to battle it out and have a good time. Whatever the outcome is, it's like, if I go home to Anitra, I'm just like, I'm okay with that. She could karate chop me in half. Like, that's fine.
Also, you're really a good lip syncer. You're
you.
a great performer. So I think you did a great showing. You showed the world that Connecticut/Queens/Puerto Rico is here to stay. And Connecticut was really put on the map this season.
Yes.
And I thought you were fantastic. And again, don't ever lose that tenacity and that spark. You are just so fun to watch. And such a beautiful person. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Thank you. That means a lot. I've just looked up to you for so long, so I appreciated every critique that you gave me, everything that you've said, and I'm just going up from here. I already got a new body, new face, so like, let's do it.
You don't need a new face. You're beautiful.
Oh, just the makeup.
And listen, everybody that puts on a pair of heels and a wig is a hero of mine, but if you make it onto the show, you're already winning. It's a big gift to have a platform like this. So in my eyes, you've already won. So thank you, Jax.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining me for another episode of Whatcha Packin. I'll see you next time. Behave. Male gymnast bodies are...
Oh, it's a dream. It's a dream. It's why I had to get out of the sport, because I was just looking at everything. Like, diving as well. I was just like, I have to stay away from the Speedos. It's not okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's really okay. Oh, hey, everybody. It's Michelle Visage. Do you want Emmy-nominated gay? Well, then subscribe to RuPaul's Drag Race on YouTube.